If you don't do what you love, you won't do it with much conviction or passion, by Mia Hamm. The reason for my presentation is to explain what makes me so passionate about the Cheesecake Factory, the company I chose to apply to. Today I'm going to go over the job description, some details into the company as a whole, and how I'm qualified for the position. So let's get into it. The job title was a restaurant manager. Some of the expectations were to manage the front of the house, being the bakery, the staff, also keeping track of financial goals and being on track with them, recruiting, interviewing, and hiring new talent, as well as enjoying and having fun in a fast-paced environment. All of those responsibilities are things that I would love to do and can definitely do. One of the things that stood out for me about the Cheesecake Factory, however, was that they truly care about their employees. On the Cheesecake Factory website, in their award section, they were awarded the Fortune 100 Best Companies to Work for 6 consecutive years in a row. They employ 45,000 employees. They have 200 locations in the United States and 26 locations internationally. So they are quite a large company. But they didn't start off large. Their history says much differently. Their humble beginnings started in 1942 when Evelyn Overton was reading her local newspaper and saw a recipe for a cheesecake. She went ahead and made that recipe, and voila, magic. She ended up hitting the jackpot and selling her recipe to all the local restaurants in town. She was getting so good that they were thinking, her and her husband Oscar were thinking about starting their own business. However, Evelyn decided to wait because her 2 children were still very young. Fast forward to 1972, her children are all grown up and that fire was still burning within both of them to open their own business. So her and her husband made the journey to Los Angeles, California, and started what they called the Cheesecake Factory Bakery. They had, Evelyn would make a variety of 20 different cheesecakes as well as some desserts, and they were doing very well. Fast forward now to 1979, their son David had an idea to open a restaurant in Beverly Hills, California. In Beverly Hills, he decided that he was going to couple the restaurant with the bakery, and he was able to trademark the name The Cheesecake Factory. And the Cheesecake Factory has stood for even so much more throughout these years. One of their biggest missions, as they say it, in their cheesecakefactory.com missions and vision section, they state that their goal is to create an environment where absolute guest satisfaction is their highest priority. And they have definitely maintained that throughout the years, considering their wide variety of food items. Their menu is one of their greatest strengths and has kept them flourishing. Their menu has over 250 items to choose from, and they also have a separate menu which they call the Skinnylicious menu. This really sets them apart from other restaurants because the Skinnylicious menu offers entrees that are 590 calories or less. So this really helps people who come in and calorie count, which is much more of a thing nowadays. But with any big corporation, big menu, many locations, you will face competition. Some of their competition would obviously be restaurants, other restaurants, whether they're big chain restaurants or independently owned restaurants. They definitely face that type of competition as far as the quality of the service that they're able to hire or even some of the location issues. And sometimes their competitors can even be retail establishments for trying to get land that works for them. So with all of that about the company, I will just go into my qualifications and why I would fit in and why I'm passionate about working at this company. So I do have an education in accounting. One of the big things that the Cheesecake Factory is looking for is somebody who will balance that budget and keep those financial goals at the forefront of their mind. And I definitely have that thorough working knowledge to be able to keep that intact for them. My work experience would be one, I had to balance the revenue for a company called Vino Cappuccino. And I was able to do that for 3 years successfully. In my time at FLS Connect, I was a recruiter. So I did have to do the recruiting, the interviewing, and the hiring of new talent. And so I do have an eye for new talent in the restaurant industry, coupled with, of course, my 10 years of experience. So for me, that is why I chose the Cheesecake Factory. It is a very large company that I would be able to move up in and advance and truly be passionate about and love. And so for that reason, I chose them, and I want to continue on to bigger and better things with the Cheesecake Factory. Thank you.